Hi, I'm Ashot. I call this episode Infatuation, the Mask of a Spring Mist. All of us have been in love at least once in our lives. Infatuation is a wonderful, romantic feeling. It is full of joy, happiness, and excitement. Every minute spent with a person brings only positive emotions. You forget your own desires just to be near them, just to see him or her. Everything else ceases to matter. Infatuation is an entirely conscious choice of a human mind. The person in love perceives the object of their affection quite adequately and realistically. It is truly a great happiness to be in love. Well, it's right, isn't it? Let's give it a shot. Lisa met Peter on a spring morning, when the city was just waking up from its winter sleep. At that moment, her heart fluttered like a fragile leaf in the first warm wind. Peter seemed to her not a person, but the embodiment of promised happiness. His voice sounded like a music, his gaze was full of mysteries, and his smile was like a sunbeam breaking through the clouds of her loneliness. The day stretched on like a golden thread, and Lisa sank deeper and deeper into this sweet dream. She looked at Peter and saw in him everything she had ever dreamed of: care, strength, kindness. Sometimes a cold emptiness crept into his words, and his actions resembled a shadow gliding along the wall, mysterious and unnatural, but Lisa did not want to notice this. Her consciousness, like a strict guard, tried to shout, "Wake up!" But her heart was deaf to these cries. Inside her, a storm raged. Jealousy, fear, resentment, and endless fatigue. She felt like a bird tangled in the invisible net of her own illusions. Several weeks passed. Lisa stopped sleeping at night. Thoughts of Peter burned her like fire. She was jealous of his past, angry at his indifference, hated herself for her weakness. Her life turned into endless waiting for a call, a message, a glance. Everything else lost its meaning. One day, on a particularly quiet evening, when the city drowned in the golden sunset, Lisa felt she could no longer fight. It was as if she let go of the reins with which she had vainly tried to control her soul. She decided just to be near, not to demand or expect anything. Like a river that accepts everything: rain, sun, even the trash thrown into it. Time passed. The mask that her subconscious so tightly held on Peter's face began to slowly melt, like frost on glass. Lisa saw Peter as he truly was, with his weaknesses, fears, habits that she did not notice before. He turned out to be an ordinary person, not an ideal, not the hero of her dreams, but an ordinary person. And then, one day, as they sat in a small cafe, Lisa realized she was no longer in love. Her heart was free, like a bird that had escaped its cage. She looked at Peter with gratitude for being her illusion, her lesson, her spring. They parted calmly, without tears, with a light smile. For the first time in a long while, Lisa felt like she could breathe deeply. Infatuation is a spring mist in which everything seems magical and unclear. But when the sun rises higher, the mist dissipates, and the world becomes real. And only then can you see what was hidden behind the haze. Sometimes it's a garden full of flowers, and sometimes an empty field where it's time to plant new seeds. Fall in love with all your heart, but if possible, also with your mind.